Uh, maybe they got busted. Try. Thank you. Dot, dot, dot.
Hello.
Hey. Is this Boulder Free Radio?
No.
I think we've been hacked. Is this a prank phone call panel? Am I in the wrong room? Oh.
Yo, what's up?
Hey, is this Boulder Free Radio?
Yeah, this is good.
Woo! This is Benign Punk in New York City.
All right, are we on?
We are on.
Yeah.
I am standing in a room full of people, and they're all listening to you.
All right, well, we are going to put you on the air here in Boulder, Colorado.
Yeah. Awesome.
So that we will be broadcasting.
Who am I talking to?
This is Monk.
Hey, what's up, Monk?
All right.
Okay, so you want to introduce the people who are there?
Sure, hold on just a sec.
All right.
Okay. Are you there?
We're here.
Are you there? Okay.
We're here. You there?
Yeah. Okay,
Hello?
you guys.
Is your refrigerator running?
Can you guys hear me? Yeah, we have a lot of things running because we're in a van.
We can hear you. Who are you?
Okay. We have Granola Girl. Say hello. Hey. Loudly. We have the Bulge. We have DT, who is back behind the van working on a vacuum cleaner. Wait, here he comes, running into the van. Hold on, say hello. We are live on the panel.
All right, so I'm just going to say right here to everybody in the room, this panel may look like it only has 2 people on it, but there are other members, and they are live right now on the air in Pirate Radio in Colorado. And we have with us Monk, who is the founder of the station. It sounds like we have Woody, Bulge, Granola Girl, and ZT. Are y'all there?
Yeah.
All right, so basically I'm just going to kind of introduce everybody and tell a little bit of background about what we are and what we do. And then we're going to cover a couple of points, and then we're going to open it up to the audience for questions. We want to know what you guys want to know about. So basically, I went to a panel at the Last Hope conference about pirate radio, and I've heard some other things at other conferences about pirate radio. Basically, the story goes, yeah, we set up a station and it was really cool, and then we got busted. And then that's it. So what we're going to tell you about tonight is a pirate radio success story, and let's hope that it continues that way. It's been going for, 2 years now, Monk?
Actually, 4 years.
3 years, something like that? So 4 years we've been on the air. 4 years.
4 years.
4 years and going strong. We are KBFR. We started as the Boulder Underground Radio Group. We became Boulder Free Radio. And we have been broadcasting in Colorado in the Boulder region, which, if any of you know, is kind of near Denver, capital, central Colorado. It's been a fabulous run for our money so far, and we hope to keep on the air for a long time. And we have had overwhelming support from the community, and we just keep getting bigger and bigger. So I'm just going to tell you a little bit about how we started. Basically, we had someone come this is how I got involved anyway. We had someone come to the 2600 meeting in Boulder looking for KBFR, the radio station that was on, because they figured, maybe it's a hacker doing the radio. And so we're all like, there's pirate radio in Boulder. This is awesome. And we ended up getting in contact with the guys, and we basically got the whole hacker community all kinds of involved in pirate radio. And at that point, we started coming up with all kinds of new DJs, new programming, and we expanded. We started opening stations in Longmont, surrounding town, and we have some people in Denver. We learned how to stream the radio station and use all kinds of shoutcast stuff so we can have the broadcasters actually in a different location than the transmitter. And so we ended up protecting our DJs that way. So basically, the hacker scene is right there in the middle of the pirate radio scene out there. And yeah, okay, so let's introduce everybody and talk a little bit about how we got involved and why we got involved and whatnot. Like I said, I got involved with the 2600 meeting. I met up with the people there, and I started hosting the van in my driveway for a while. And that was great, and I got a lot of other DJs involved. And then I moved out here, so I've been involved with the station kind of, over the internet. I listen all the time, and I help them out with stuff occasionally, and I get to have a show when I go visit. But I was there in the old school, and I survived an FCC bus, so I will tell you guys about that later. Here physically with us is Cy.
Hi. It's about time, eh?
Yeah. Go for it.
One important note that B9 was one of the few people that actually faced down an FCC agent. Didn't you, B9?
What was that? Sorry.
She said she was
You
gonna.
actually faced down an FCC agent, didn't you?
Yeah. Well, I was really stoned. I think we'll get into that story a little bit later. Let's just go around and introduce everybody right now.
So hey, I'm Cy. I'm just involved as a DJ mostly, but I help a lot with technical work. We've got about over 40 DJs now to help out, pay the bills, and all that jazz. It's a good deal. And yeah, that's about it. I've done some work on the website and junk like that. I just help out wherever I can, but it's a big group of people, so that's a good thing.
Monk and you guys, you want to introduce yourselves and tell us all about how you got involved with the station and what you do there?
We can, but I'm going to have to ask that you call the other phone that we gave you so that we can actually plug you into the mic here.
Okay, can we do that?
Cy has that number.
Yeah, I should have that number.
All right, okay. We'll talk about something in your stead.
Okay, call that phone, and what we'll then do is plug you in, and you'll be, our listeners will be able to hear you much better, and we'll be able to talk you through our mics.
All right.
Call us back.
All right, so we're going to call them back on the other number so they can all talk to us. Let me just tell you a little bit about what I know. Monk is the what I've called the benefactor of KBFR. He was the first guy who started it in his basement. His story, as far as I know, and I wish maybe I'll let him retell it a little bit. He wanted to start a legal station, and he went out and started the whole process for getting a license and bought all of this very nice, what he calls Cadillac equipment. It's FCC approved, and it's expensive and top of the line. And in the middle of his process to get the license, they changed the laws. And he was not going to be able to run the kind of station that he had intended and couldn't get his license. So the way he puts it is, well, I could put it all on eBay or I could just do it anyway. And and that's what he did. So we started using this equipment in his basement, and that it got expanded. We put it in vans so that it would be mobile. And that's one of the ways that we elude the FCC and make sure that we don't get caught unless we want to.
I think we've actually had an opportunity to become licensed, but at this point, fuck it, freedom of speech and whatnot. I think we just keep it underground. It's too expensive as well. There's a waiting list to get on the. Fuck the FCC, yes.
Yeah.
Are we back on with him?
Monk?
Yes, you are. You're back on with KBFR in Boulder. And you're live on the air here.
Awesome.
Awesome. So, Monk, why don't you take the reins for a minute and tell us your story?
Okay. Well, it started in 2000. There was a new law that had been passed that was called the LPFM, Low Power FM Law, that would allow us to set up 100-watt stations. So I went ahead and started the process. I got a application for a license. I ordered a transmitter from Europe. It took about 6 months to get one. And during that time, NPR and the National Association of Broadcasters changed the rules so that nobody could really get an LPFM license unless they were stuck out in the middle of a rural area like the middle of Wyoming or the Utah desert. You had to be too many clicks away from an existing station to get the license. So I was stuck with a transmitter and I couldn't get a license. So I had a choice, sell it on eBay or say, fuck it, and put it up. So I put it up. And over time it has grown from me in my basement to now over 40 DJs. It's 40 DJs. About 5 FCC busts. Five FCC busts. After the first one, we figured out that they actually weren't as powerful as they want you to think they are, and that's the real key to setting up a pirate radio station and staying on the air, is not being afraid of the FCC. That's really the key. So that and the fact that we remain anonymous, we don't use our real names ever, and we stay mobile. We move the station around quite a bit. Every time we get busted, we pick the thing up and move it in takes about 30 minutes to tear it down and move it to another location.
Yep.
And we're usually up within a few hours of an FCC bust. And they bust us about once every 6 to 12 months, somewhere in there. So that's kind of the short version of the story. How about, is that enough to get started?
Awesome. That's great. You want to introduce everybody else?
We have Bulge. Say hello. Hola. We have Granola Girl. Hey. And we have ZT. Yay! That's an inside joke. And don't ask, please. That's who's in the van right now. And of course you like I said, you've probably got 2,000 or 3,000 listeners in Boulder listening right now as well.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Where's Carl?
Yeah, where's Uncle Mammy?
Uncle Mammy is getting drunk at Netherworld in Denver tonight.
Surprise, surprise. Well, we, in fact, are getting drunk on the stage right now.
Cheers.
All right.
So,
Hey.
so cheers to that. I'm sure you guys are all drinking in the van.
We're going to say we're getting drunk in the van as well.
There's wine, beer, and Red Bull.
Right. But no drugs. That's one of the rules.
Yeah, we have 3 rules: no drugs,
No guns.
no guns. That was one of our DJs had
Guns
to have
are really
a spring.
popular in Colorado.
Yeah, and then the third one is no one under 18 because that makes sure that the cops don't have a reason to come in.
Yeah, basically
There's
those are
also-
the 3 things that make FCC busts a lot worse. So
Yeah.
we don't do those
So
things.
If you do those 3 things, no drugs, no guns, no one under 18, there's really very little that they can come up with to get you.
We've had to sort of institute a 4th rule recently, which is inciting riot and threatening.
Yeah, we had some people saying things like, referencing the leader of America and,
in a threatening manner.
And it turns out that kind of sets off the Secret Service. So you don't want to do that either. That's another one you can't do.
Yeah, really the important thing to remember is that the FCC isn't scary, but the FBI, the CIA, the NSA, the DEA, and the police department are.
Yeah.
So those are the people that you really don't want to piss off.
So if you want to go on the air, do it.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, get the IRS, by the way.
And the IRS. And the INS.
And yeah, the Patriot Act. Okay, so I think that we should have just like a short rundown of a couple things that I think that this crowd is interested in. And one of them is our philosophy, why we do it, why we don't want to be legal, and why we got involved in the first place. The second thing is how do we set it up? What equipment do we need? How can these guys do it in their hometowns? And the third thing is legal. How do we get away with it? So if we could just touch on all of these 3 subjects real quick, and then I think we can open it up to you guys, and you can ask us, we have 4 years of experience, and hopefully we can tell you how to do this and whatever you want to know about pirate radio.
And hopefully you do it.
Yeah,
You
do
want
it.
me to start?
The more stations we have, the more powerful this becomes. So we
Right.
want to encourage everyone to start their own station.
We,
Now, go-
we have a. Go ahead.
No, it's all right. Go ahead.
We have a concept of a thing we call RPR, Real Public Radio, and we think that if we can create a network of 1,000 pirate radio stations, we can rival Clear Channel and NPR in terms of changing the media landscape, and that's very possible to do. The actual starting of a station is not that expensive. You can do it for as little as $1,000, and if you want to really kick ass, for about $3,500 to $5,000, you can set up something that in your local town sounds as good as your 50,000 watt Clear Channel station within about a 6 or 10 mile radius. So it's really not that hard to do. You need a mixer, a computer, or a CD player or MP3 player, a mic, a transmitter, and an antenna. I mean, and that's literally it. You would be astounded at how little equipment it actually takes to set up and run a pirate station. If you want to get to the other extreme, which is what KBFR does, and we'll talk about that in a little more detail, we actually use a thing called an STL, a studio transmitter link, which separates the studio itself, where we're sitting right now, from the transmitter, which is sitting far away, from several miles away. And we transmit over the internet via a stream, because the studio itself is, in essence, a legal internet radio station that is sending a stream out to a server in, I believe, New Jersey, right?
Right.
And then the transmitter is sitting far away with an antenna in a tree and a computer, sucking that stream up from New Jersey. I guess so what's really going on is we're broadcasting here to New Jersey, back from New Jersey to the studio transmitter link several miles away, which then sends it out to the antenna and makes it available to anybody who wants to listen on an FM radio here in Boulder.
Yeah, KBFR has really grown to a national effort. We have internet support in New Jersey. We have people doing shows from, New Mexico, maybe Brooklyn soon.
Yeah, maybe. It's not, with the internet you can do it. It's really not hard.
Right, because it's all done over the internet now. And this provides us, if we could just segue into the next section, some legal anonymity, which makes it safer for DJs to get involved and not get caught.
Right. Basically, how it works is for the FCC to bust somebody, they need to serve you a warning at your location first, and then later they'll need to serve you a warrant. And either via VAN or STL, it's really easy for us to move our setup every time we get a warning from the FCC.
Right. So once you get the warning, and they have to give you the warning first, and they have to find you. And when they find you, they give you the warning, because the FCC's primary goal is compliance. They really don't want to prosecute you. They want you to turn it off, because they don't have the resources to prosecute you. They have 2 lawyers at the FCC that concentrate on radio. That's it, for the entire country. So if you turn the transmitter off, they're happy. They go away, and then you just move the transmitter and turn it on a couple hours later, and you won't hear from them again for 6 or 12 months.
And that's true in 49 out of 50 states, except in Florida, where it's now a felony.
Yeah, if you're in Florida, basically you're screwed.
Yeah.
Don't do pirate radio in Florida. It's not worth it. That's the bottom line. I hate to say it, but it's the truth.
All right. So maybe this would be a good time to talk about the FCC bust that I went through. The way I remember it and the way I understand it, and you guys can just jump in here and correct me when I self-aggrandize and exaggerate.
Yeah, I remember you were a little loaded the day the FCC came by.
It was
Yeah.
codeine, yeah.
All right, so here's the story as I remember it. And one of the things that we should touch on, in Boulder, in Denver, in the Boulder-Denver conglomerate, as Clear Channel calls it, we're a little maybe lucky, fortunate, in that they own all the stations and there's not very many stations. So our station doesn't really bleed at all into any of the other stations. So we have an FM station, 95.3, right in the middle of the dial. You don't have to have special equipment to listen to us. It's not like 102.6 or something, we're right there, 95.3. The closest station that's really popular in Boulder is, 97.3, KBCO? And for a while there, we were broadcasting only nights and weekends. And the reason for this is that we would get tattled on by the other stations when we stole their morning listeners. So we decided when I decided to move to New York, and we were only going to be at this location in my driveway for a few, I think it was like a month and a half. It's like 6 or 8 weeks or something like that. We decided that, fuck it, let's just go full time all through the day. And if they tattle on us and they come, they tattle on us and they come. Of course, during this period, I got bronchitis. And I got codeine to help me sleep while I had bronchitis. So one morning, it was a little while after I'd taken my prescription, and I was really, really sleepy and stoned. And I looked out my window, and I saw that there was some guys walking around the van. And I was like, oh, well, but I gotta go get the mail. So I went downstairs and I got the mail, and I was in my pajamas, and I turned around to go back in my house, and they came running over to me. Oh, wait, we want to talk to you. And it was just like the cartoons, right? There was a fat guy and a skinny guy. And they come up and they're all sweating because it's the summertime, right? And they're all nervous, and they say, "You have a pirate radio station running out of your driveway." And I was like, I don't know what you're talking about.
No way, man.
And they say, no, we know. We went around into your backyard. We trespassed on your property, and we know that your van is plugged in with an extension cord, a bright orange one, to your house. And, and that you have an antenna in your tree in the backyard. And I said, I don't know what you're talking about. And they said, can we come inside? And I said, well, do you have a warrant? And they said, well, we're going to be honest with you up front. We don't have a warrant, but we really want to come inside because we really think there's a lot of radio equipment in there, and we want to have a look around. And I said, well, I think you should get a warrant. And they were like, we really want you to cooperate with us. And I said, I think I am cooperating. I'm an American citizen, and if you want to come in my house, you need a warrant, right? I mean, these I didn't make the rules, right? and so they got all hot and bothered, and they gave me a piece of paper to sign that said, you've received this piece of paper. And I was like, all right, I received a piece of paper. That's cool. But I did have to give them my real name because they did show up with a policeman who is scary, as opposed to the FCC, which is not scary. And I had the house that I lived in was actually broken into a couple months before, and the same policeman had come and taken the report. So he knew my name, and he had a file. Not for any, dubious purposes, but he had a file anyway. So I had to give him my real name, and he ran the plates on all the cars around to see, like, if any of these people were criminals. And they were just my roommates. They were just like college kids, so they had nothing. But for a period there, the two FCC agents went back and walked around the van, and the cop came up to me. He's like, I've never been on one of these buses before. And what, do you know anything about this? And I was like, I don't know. And I was really stoned, so I was like, no, I got no idea. So it was there, and the station was on and broadcasting from the van during the entire bust. It never went down. So basically we moved it a little bit after that, and I moved out here, and it wasn't scary at all. So maybe you want to tell them about exactly how you can get in trouble, like if you're caught on the mic or whatnot, and what they can do to you, and then maybe we'll open it up for questions.
All right. Well, one thing to note, most FCC agents they're very good at trying to intimidate you. They have recently started bringing in a cop with them, and that's a fairly recent development. And they also now have a badge that apparently they buy at I'm not kidding, they buy at some cop store locally in town to intimidate you. There is no FCC badge, but if they show you one, they bought it at a cop.
Kinko's, yeah.
Yeah,
Claw machine at the bowling alley.
Yeah, it's bullshit. But they have no authority to arrest. They have no authority to issue a warrant. The only thing they have the authority to do is say, you're running a pirate station. We're absolutely sure of it, and we think we can prove it in court, so we're going to fine you $11,000. They can do that, but they have to be able to collect it, and they have to think that they can win in court. So if you are, for instance, really poor, that means you're judgment-proof. If you're judgment-proof, you can do whatever the hell you want. The FCC can't do shit.
Yay, poverty.
Yay, poverty, right.
Woohoo!
So the other times we've been busted, we've had several different stories from different people. I was the first to get it, and they were very pleasant. They were polite, and they were like, "You're running a pirate station. You have to let us in." And I said, same thing that Jen did, which was, show me your warrant, because I've seen enough TV shows to know not to let a federal agent in your house without a warrant. And they wouldn't come in. They did not have a cop that first time. That's, like I said, they just started doing that with B9's first bus, and they've done it ever since then. That was our second bus. Our third bus was that at Dobbs, Dr. Dobbs?
Yeah.
And they were actually pretty violent, but they were not nice. They went after Dobbs pretty heavily, and trying to convince him that he had to come down to the FCC office. And basically what it comes down to is they have no power to do much of anything other than intimidate. If you believe them and you let them intimidate you, they win. If you don't believe them, which you don't have to, then they don't get to do anything. They have no power to do anything. So that's why you just got to play it cool, say you don't know what the hell's going on, and turn it off. If you turn it off, they'll go away. What the FCC wants more than anything else is compliance. They know better than to try to prosecute, but they do want compliance. That allows them to go away. I've actually had an email discussion with an FCC agent in California, and this guy at least, and he says this is true of other agents, they think it's bullshit. The agents themselves think it's a waste of time. There's about 480 agents, at least there were about 2 years ago last time I checked.
There's how many in Colorado? There's 2 agents in the whole state?
There's
2 agents in Colorado.
2 agents in Colorado. There's 480 nationally, and their job is to monitor all FCC actionable items, things like all of the phone companies, all of the cable companies, all of the cellular companies, the garage door opener. I mean, if somebody's garage door opener is opening somebody else's garage door, in theory, you call the FCC and they come out and check the garage door to see who's screwed up in building that garage door open. All 802.11b, anything wireless, 802.11g, all of that entire spectrum.
They're busy guys. They don't care about you.
So bottom line is, we're just a pain in the ass to them. They don't want to bother with us, but if Clear Channel calls the chairman of the FCC and says, damn it, you've got pirates out in Colorado, something's got to happen, they come and they harass you. So it's really just harassment. If you treat it that way and don't let it bother you, you just keep right on going. Do not let the FCC intimidate you. That's the bottom line, because they really don't have any power to do it.
Well, the thing is now we've completely eliminated that fear
You're gonna have to
factor of
repeat
getting
any
busted.
questions,
What's that? Monk?
because we can only really hear B9.
You saying you can't hear him?
I can hear him yelling. We can't make out his words.
Sorry.
So you're gonna have to
I'll talk
repeat his
further from
question.
the mic. But the thing is nowadays we've eliminated all the fear factor behind the FCC, because they're not going to bust you, because where you're transmitting from, you're not actually transmitting from. You've just got a streaming radio station, right? You're transmitting somewhere else, so they're going to go there. And they can't bust that person really, because that person believes it to be a ham radio repeater that someone thought that they had a good location to put it up there. And it's not even there, so they can't confiscate it. All they have to do is shut it off. We go out there, pick it up, move the antenna again. That's all you do. So there's no reason to fear the FCC.
Yeah, it's a really sustainable setup, and like I said, we've been on the air for years, and everyone should do it. It's not really expensive, and get involved because it's your airways.
Yeah, take it back. This is all about taking back the airwaves because the reality is airwaves are a limited resource like the air, the earth, and the sky, man. And the FCC is supposed to protect it in the public interest. And what the FCC's done is they've fucking sold it off to the highest bidder. That's what's happened. And what you've got to do, what all of you guys have to do, is help us take it back. You and about at least 1,000 other groups of people over the next 5 or so years can absolutely do that. We can change the media landscape by doing this, but it's going to take an
And
effort.
the people love us.
Our audience does that.
They do. Our audience does love
Not
us.
going to answer that.
But you know what? It's fun. It's fun to boot.
Yeah, it's easy also because there's such the community support. Like, for example, with KBFR, we started as a small couple of guys just, playing Grateful Dead and Frank Zappa all day.
Hey.
And I should turn my phone off. We have benefit concerts now. We have people wearing these T-shirts. All over these T-shirts that we have, people pitch in. The station is money-wise like almost completely DJ supported. If you have $20-30 a month and you can put it in, you get a show. And they put out CDs with their live recordings of local bands. And the community support not only from the listeners, which we have a way that they can call in one of those, drug dealer 7-Eleven cell phones, prepaid. So we get people calling us in, and we get to hear nightly, daily, how people feel about us. And it's not just the listeners, but like I said, the venues have taken us in, and they let us record things and have shows. And the local bands are hog wild about us. They're just, they want to come and record and be on the air and ham it up, and everybody wins. So
We run Boulder. Oh, we do. we determine who gets elected.
Okay, VP's losing his mic. We're taking away his mic.
all right, so I guess what I'd like to do, unless you guys have anything else to say, or you, Sai, is open it up for questions. Any last words?
Go ahead. VP has one last word. It better be relevant, though.
It is relevant.
Okay.
The best thing you guys can do if you want to get involved and start your own radio station, you want to check out the Prometheus Radio Project, and you also want to check out Berkeley Free Radio.
The Prometheus Project presented here today, earlier in this room.
God bless us.
By the way, we are on the web, too, www.kbfr.org.
Yes,
Yeah.
kbfr.org.
And we stream live.
As you guys know, Prometheus helps out with licensing and all that for legal radio stations, but they'll probably help out with pirates a little bit if you ask nicely. Berkeley Free Radio has also started pirate radio classes. So you go and you hang out in Berkeley for a week or so. They teach you everything you want to know about pirate radio, and they even sell transmitter kits. So for, I think, like $100,
Really cheap.
you can get everything you need to put a transmitter together. And if you know a little bit about soldering, EE kind of stuff, you can put together your FM transmitter and you're on the air. So you'll also want to check out the Philly IMC Circa Hope, the last one. People are trying to put together technology to build studio transmitter links.
What was the English translation of what you just said?
Sorry.
Talk down, dummy.
So there's
Philly IMC, what's that?
Yeah, that's. Let me put this another way. If you go to the Prometheus Project website, there's a link on there somewhere that's like, hey, we think STL is a great technology, and everyone should start finding various ways to build one. And if you want to be involved, you should get on this list. And that's actually something that we could use help with, and that I think would be very good for the pirate radio movement. Because very honestly, our STL is good, but it isn't great. And every now and then it'll go down, and we have to run over the computer there and reboot it or restart whatever. And what we really want is some sort of stable technology to do it. And all the obvious things that people think of doing don't work real well. So, that's what you want to be doing if you want to help out the movement.
The other thing you can do is write us at kbfr@kbfr.org, and we can try to fill you in on whatever we know. So.
Hey, and also, Cy,
Word.
if you're there, your girlfriend is IMing me right now saying she's listening. She wants to hear your voice.
Hi, Lynn.
Hi,
I love
Mom.
you.
Something about horny and...
Shut the fuck up.
Translation is she's having sex with another man. She wants to make sure you're not outside.
All right, so let's open this up for questions. Because we're on the phone, let's line up at the mic. Can we do that?
Yeah.
Lots of questions.
Lots of questions. Oh, God, not you.
I have a question for Monk. Monk, are you there?
What does it take to pump up the
God.
volume?
Is it true that Pump Up the Volume starring Christian Slater is based on you, Monk?
Sit down.
This is a dumb movie.
The poor man's Jack Nicholson. Waste no time.
I had the same question.
Nice.
What was the question again?
Whether or not the role that Christian Slater played in Pump Up the Volume was based on you.
On me?
Yeah.
Jesus. Frickin' Christ. No, hell no.
No.
Is there an open bar at the conference?
All right, we got a lot of questions. Let's get them.
This is Petrie from the Prometheus Radio Project. And
Hey,
greetings to both-
Petrie. We've emailed many times.
Welcome.
So the one thing I just wanted to put out there is that the very law that took away the frequency for KBFR 4 years ago now is up in the Senate. And I've been spending an obscene amount of time in one of the grossest places you could possibly imagine going to, the United States Senate, and trying to convince all these senators and congressmen to get rid of this stupid law.
Right?
and
Your
let all this
congressman.
let
people.
all
Hey,
things, Congress,
Yeah.
creatures, whatever they are.
Yeah.
So we actually have a lot of stuff up on our website about how to get that stupid law repealed and get all those frequencies back open. Also, if you're interested in working on the Studio Transmitter Link project, we're getting tantalizingly close. What we really want to get it down to is something that people can just pop to disc, download it, pop discs in their disk drives, and all of a sudden it just works. And
Beautiful.
And whenever there's a problem, it just sort of fixes itself instead of having to bother your friends that know Linux at 2 in the morning. So,
But they're up then anyway.
we have it pretty much working, but we just have to get those last bits of reliability to the point that it's really gonna be great.
Great.
So you can come up to me after if you'd like to contribute to that project. And
I'd like to comment. Petri Dish he was one of the guys that I talked to when I very first started and was very helpful. He's probably one of the most knowledgeable pirate people on the planet right now, and you've got him right there. I didn't even know he was there. So you guys should mob him after this.
Thank you very much, man. Go to these guys' website, check it out, help them out.
so I had a
Awesome.
question about your van, which is how do you get the signal into the van from wherever it is? And also, do you run off 12 volts or do you run off of 120 volts?
We use 802.11b and G when we can get it. We use hotspots from a lot of our listeners. They pull up to we pull up to their businesses or their houses and park there, and they run a cable out from their house, power cable, and also we have an antenna in their tree, and we run that down, and we run those directly into the van. And we have about 18 or 20 of those scattered around Boulder.
Lots of trees in Boulder.
Cool.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, this is Froggy from Cleveland, and I'm also a licensed FCC amateur radio operator. And my question to you is, what level of expertise, both electrical engineering-wise and maybe even say ham radio-wise, do you have in your organization?
I don't know shit.
I'm
gonna tell you that right now. I started listening.
That would not be allowed on the ham bands, by the way.
I started listening and
what's
I was like,
interesting?
you guys need to play something other than the Grateful Dead. So that's my involvement. I tried to get other people who were technically apt involved. And so here's a story from somebody who doesn't know anything about what a transmitter even really
The thing is you don't need.
Well,
You don't need the
the thing is, what's interesting here is I started this thing and I have no experience in radio whatsoever. I just decided that it was something that needed to happen. I was basically pissed off that I had been kind of enticed into getting a license and had it jerked away from me by these assholes at NPR and the NAB. And a buddy of mine, a guy named Sparky, found me after I'd been up about 2 weeks on the air and emailed me because I had an email at that time, and he was an RF engineer in a double E and knew a lot. So I think it is really important that if you're starting a pirate radio station, to find somebody who is technically adept. He kept me from putting a dirty signal out. He kept me from doing anything particularly stupid, like stepping on other signals, and taught me a lot about how to be a good radio citizen, which is very important.
Well, thank you very much. And I hope that maybe all that information from him and people like him could maybe put in a central repository so that you don't have to reinvent the wheel twice and 3 times and maybe a dozen times after that. Thank you very much and good luck on your project.
Yeah, thanks for your
For me,
question.
I think the Prometheus project is, Petri Dish and those guys are doing a lot of that work, actually. So.
Yeah, we were working on some documents at some point, like how to set up your own thing. I don't know if they're done yet or anything, but...
We're writing a book on it, actually, but it'll be a while.
Hi there.
Hiya, how's it going?
I'm Edric from Albuquerque, New Mexico. We had a pirate radio station for almost 5 years, and about 3 years ago it got shut down.
Yep, I know about
I'll
that.
tell you a lot of the factors behind that one was the fact that it was the local hams that did most of the hunting, some of the sabotage, and some of the other factors in getting that
Nerds.
shut down. And it really wasn't the FCC guys that were the biggest problem, although there was enough, because there was enough paper trail based on one or more of the members having an FCC license, unfortunately. So that may be a factor that people getting into this may want to do. It's better to have a clean slate than to have a record with the FCC because it makes it much easier for them to start at least putting thumb screws on people.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, one thing about the hams, there are 2 kinds of hams. There are hams that like you and hams that don't like you. And when you first put a transmitter up, you can expect to see a long train of trucks come by where your transmitter site is, because they do this thing called T-hunting, transmitter hunting. It's a hobby. They do it for fun. We're used to it now. Whenever we move around, we're used to seeing them pop up. Oh, look, there's the transmitter. Some of them are cool about it and don't care. Some of them, it pisses them off that we're doing this without a license, and they call the FCC and complain. So that's true. But it's really a 50-50 deal. Some of them are friends, some of them aren't. You just have to talk to them to figure out which one they are. If they're not friends, get the hell away from them, because they are nuts. The ones that aren't your friends. They really are.
We have a lot of ham friends and a lot of ham enemies. So.
Yep.
Thanks.
Hi. Hi, this is Steve from WBRS in Massachusetts. I was wondering if you could just describe your programming in a little more detail.
Are you a Clear Channel station?
No, we're a college station.
It's
cool.
pirates, so we do anything we want.
Yeah, the programming here is completely freeform. It's our goal is to have a platform for free speech and to play music that people don't hear. So we have a lot of local music. G Girl, who's sitting right here, for instance, plays a lot of local bands. A lot of our DJs do that. We really try to focus on the local community of musicians. Boulder's rich when it comes to local musicians. Plus, there's a lot of music out there that no one ever hears. It's just simple. No one ever hears it. And our DJs are very good at digging that up and playing it. So I would say there is basically no rules. We call it that, no rules radio, and that's our programming.
Yeah, there's no criteria as far as, well, we're a punk, radio station or we're a whatever. There's nothing like that. Basically, we find people who are, friendly to the station, and we prep them on how to be a pirate radio DJ, and then we just let them loose.
And we've got 40 DJs, so that's a lot of
Yeah,
different
our
tastes.
general direction is that we have no direction.
Right.
Right. Of course, they're all hippies, so they still play hippie music all the time.
Some of us, we call it the dead guy hippie shit show.
Between our 40-something DJs, just about every genre is represented aside from country and classical, and even a little bit on the country with some of the guys who are real into bluegrass. So we have a real diverse lineup of music. Not as much news as I'd like, but we're working on that.
And a whole lot of Grateful Dead.
Not anymore.
Not so much anymore. We've been working on that. We've been getting that shit out.
A lot of fish.
I'm just bitter because I want my show back.
Yeah, B9, I want you to join me on my show.
Oh, yeah, maybe. Hey, I'm working on, I'm done with this Hope stuff now, finally, so I can get some equipment, and we'll do the whole show.
We'll hook up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll do lunch.
Excellent.
Son.
Well, thanks very much. Next question.
Hi, my name is Vinny. I just had a question. With something like Clear Channel, could they ever become a threat by broadcasting noise over your channel, since they could just pay for expensive transmitters?
Yeah, it's funny you would say it. Doctor Who 666 just IM'd me about that. We did have somebody stepping on our channel about, when was it, about 4 months, 5 months ago?
4 months ago.
And we tracked it down to the local Clear Channel guys, the guys at KBCO. It was very near their studio, and it kept moving around. So we have no idea what it was. We never were able to catch them, but somebody was doing it. It went on for about 2 or 3 weeks, and then it stopped.
Yeah. KBCO hates us.
Clear Channel hates us.
Yeah. But specifically KBCO, and it's very likely that they would have done something to try and sabotage us.
Because we're a threat, baby.
Cock blockers.
Then they just get bored and go away.
Yeah. Just like a party, you gotta deal with it the same way.
Thanks.
Thanks. Soul
Yeah.
Train.
Yeah, I'm Sue Terrain. I just want to say how much debt of gratitude we all owe people like you, the Prometheus Radio Project. I think everyone should give them a round of applause right now.
You usually do that at the end, dude.
Thank you.
Prometheus.
And I do have 2 quick questions. One, do you think the FCC in New York would react differently than the FCC in Boulder?
Well, I think there's more than 2 agents.
Well, yeah, most likely.
Think about it. Think about it. You're in New York. You cut someone off in traffic. What happened?
Yeah.
Nothing.
And the other question is,
Bullshit. In Boulder, they just smile. In New York, they shoot you. And let me tell you, the agents there will be the same way. They will be a little bit tougher.
Well,
They are going to be tougher.
There's definitely some different some challenges. In New York, there's, a lot more stations than there are in Colorado. Because we don't have Clear Channel and, well, of course we have Clear Channel, but they don't get to have free reign over the spectrum like they do out there so much. There's a lot of stations, and there's a lot of stations like WBAI and punk rock, underground, grassroots, not necessarily underground, but there's a lot of community radio out here already. So even finding a signal is going to be harder out here. And of course, I think they do FCC stuff, like how many agents they have based on population. So that's definitely a higher challenge.
in other words, they have shitloads here.
I've looked into it a little bit, and I've been, I haven't bothered starting anything yet.
And the other quick question is, what about this 4th rule that was mentioned earlier in the program?
The 4th rule. The 4th rule was essentially inciting and
we can't tell you about the 4th rule.
You can't say, I want to kill the guy who runs the country.
The 4th rule is never tell anybody about the 4th rule.
Yeah. I mean, the 4th rule, like I was saying before, is you really just, it's okay to have to piss off the FCC because they won't hurt you. But in general, the philosophy goes like this. It doesn't matter if you're breaking a law or not. It matters, Monk just ruined my kingdom. It doesn't matter if you're breaking a law. It matters who you're pissing off and how much you're pissing them off and what the people you're pissing off can do back to you. And really bad people to piss off are people like the FBI, who protect the president, and the new Homeland Security Administration. Those are all people that you really don't want to piss off, and you really don't want to give them a reason to come and fuck with you.
Right.
So that's what the 4th rule is about. It's about not being a complete retard on the air and saying things that is going to draw attention from organizations other than the FCC.
Organizations that carry real badges.
So don't threaten people and don't incite riots. That's simple.
Yeah.
Just a little sidebar about that. This is self-indulging, but this is one of the reasons that I was really attracted to pirate radio is because it's one of the things that you can do that just doesn't piss people off. Because if you don't want to listen to it, you just change the channel, right? Like, you just don't listen to it. So for all of you hacktivists and all you people who are like, but what can I do? This is one of the things that's just, it's, if you have people and friends and technical people to help you set it up, it's an awesome way to speak your mind and do your part and be a tangible effect on your community without pissing people off, as long as you follow the 3 rules.
Right. Hey, I need to interrupt for just a second. You're listening to KBFR, Boulder Free Radio 95.3 FM, and we are on a live conference with the Hope folks, a hacker conference in New York City, doing a pirate panel. And that is what you, at the moment, are listening to, 95.3 FM. All right, go ahead. Sorry.
We've got about 100 people in this room right now who are really interested in you guys. So congratulations for you guys. We got one more question.
Quick one here. Are there other streaming providers like the one that you guys use in Jersey, or is that pretty much the only one?
Well, we're kind of lucky
pirate-friendly?
in that. Well, like I said, there's a big hacker, population in the pirate radio. It's a subset, and everybody has that hacker friend who has their own hosting company. Well, we have a bunch of them, so we just kind of trade off.
Yeah.
You can use any
really,
ISP.
yeah, there are lots of them out there. All you have to do is find them. And, the reality is you don't need to have a streaming company to do
Shoot us
that.
an email.
You can run a streaming server in your studio or your van that streams directly over the internet out to the STL site. So in reality, if you want to, you can do it without anything other than just yourself. Very possible.
Cool. We actually got a few more questions.
I'm me, and I'm from Wichita, Kansas, and I have streaming
Yo,
media.
Cass, represent.
Yeah. Actually, I'm representing the hillbilly hackers there.
Howdy.
I have streaming media video server running right now, and I have static IP and stuff in my basement. And what I was wanting to do is, first of all, I want to connect with you guys after the show. But I've run a lot of tests before I came here, and it's working real good. The other thing is, I have a friend of mine that's got a lot of equipment. He's got a big base station. He's friends with all the ham radio people. So I think that would probably be beneficial to me. This is one of my goals, is to get on the air. But the only problem is Clear Channel has a lot of power in Wichita. They own all the radio stations there.
Boulder, Denver's the same way.
And
same in Denver and Boulder.
Okay. And the other issue is, when you do get fined or said, do you ever get subpoenaed to court? And if you don't show up to court, do they issue a bench warrant? And if you don't show up, do they come out?
Well,
We've never
first
been
of all,
fined.
let me say a couple things real clearly here. First of all, never ever use your real name. Most of the DJs here at KBFR some of them have known me for years. Most of them have never heard my first name, my real first name. Only maybe 6 of them know my entire real name out of the 40 DJs.
Yeah, but what about tracking your voice?
How the hell are they going to do that?
Actually,
Yeah.
that was funny. The FCC agent said something about that when I
That's
had my
bullshit.
bus. They were like,
That's
"Were you on
bullshit.
the air this morning? We think we heard you." And I hadn't
So they've
been,
done.
so
There,
they
there's
don't know
there's
shit.
no people that have the equipment to track your voice or anything like that. You don't have
That's
to go
not
on
a
the air
reality
like
at this point.
Oh, this is great. You guys, listen. We've got a ham who's IMing me right now. He says, I'm a ham and I think you guys are pimps. Generally, they call transmitter hunts fox hunts.
Well, we're getting Wichita, Kansas on the air as soon as I go home.
Congratulations.
I've got
Thank you.
streaming media and
Right on,
thanks to the
man.
websites
Awesome.
too.
Live the dream, brother.
Rock on, man. Rockin' free world.
Hiya.
Howdy, I'm from the Denver area as well. And I was curious on the Longmont simulcast, are you guys indeed simulcasting there? Do you have a second van?
What are you guys up to in Longmont these days?
Boulder just reaches it.
We actually, it's funny. We're not doing anything in
transmission
Longmont right now. You can pick us up in Longmont in some places, but there's a group in Denver called the Denver Capitol Hill Underground Radio Coalition that is setting a station up in Denver, and a Denver Free Radio group that is setting a station up. I think in the next probably 60 days, you're going to see at least a couple more pirates go up in the Denver area.
Liz, what's your broadcasting, I want to say, like radius or footprint? Is it within 20 miles of Boulder? And obviously it varies with propagation and
It
whatnot.
depends, right? Because we move the antenna.
Okay.
Yep,
But
gonna
we
depend.
generally reach like the edges of.
What is it, Monk? Like 200 watts?
It's anywhere from 6 to 20 miles.
6 to 20 miles. It's like 20 watts or 200 watts?
150.
150 watts.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, 150 watt light bulb worth of power.
Hello, darling.
Hi, Jen. Okay.
Ooh,
Can I help you?
Well, can we backtrack to the fine part?
Yeah, uh-huh.
Anybody that has the ability to sue CBS and Clear Channel for $500,000 over a boob has put a healthy dose of fear in me.
Yeah.
I am afraid of the
you know what?
FCC.
Janet Jackson's boob.
Yeah, but it's Janet Jackson. You know what, though?
I think
Here's
you
the
need to
story
go
on that.
home and look in the mirror and decide not to live in the path of fear.
You know why?
I'm not afraid!
I'm not afraid anymore.
You know why? You know why they can sue them?
Why?
There's a reason that they can sue them. They have a license, and by signing on for that license, they agreed not to do a lot of certain of things that if they did them, they could be sued for. This is weird, but it's true. They can't fine us because we don't have a license. Not for that stuff. They can,
I'm actually showing my breasts right now.
No, that's brilliant, but
man boobs. Yeah.
Why don't we just go over real quick exactly what you have to do, exactly where they have to catch you to get a fine? You have to be on the air, is that right?
Yeah, you have to be on the air. They have to catch you with your mouth in the mic. Literally.
They have to catch you with your mouth in your mic. So because we have the transmitter in a different place than we have the DJs, that almost is impossible.
It is
and what they
impossible, actually,
find
for the
is
DJs.
the antenna and the transmitter. They don't find where you're at because it's in a different state. So it's like almost completely impossible for a person in the way that we have things set up to get fined. So
Yeah.
it is a danger, but it's easy to avoid by setting it up in the correct way.
Yep.
Bill, honestly, your question almost answers itself because that's what the FCC does. They spend their time finding CBS over boobs. They don't spend their time hunting down pirate radio stations.
Basically, that's basically true. Yeah.
CBS can pay the fines.
That's right.
We can't.
They wouldn't take us to court because we don't have money.
One other thing that's important to
Yeah.
do if you're a pirate station, and we've done this here, is to line up local lawyers who are liberal and tend to side towards free speech. We actually have 3 lawyers here in Boulder that have volunteered to do pro bono work for us.
Yeah, we have
And
lawyer
we've let-
DJs. Yes.
Yeah, one of them was a DJ. He's not anymore, but he was. And we actually have 3 lawyers. The FCC only has 2 lawyers. We have more legal power than the FCC does when it comes to going to court. And we've let the FCC know that. They emailed me once and said, hey, stop it. And I emailed them back and said, hey, I got more legal power than you. Lay off. And basically, it's worked. They don't really want to take you to court because they know that if we go to court and we win, that it's a free-for-all. The only thing they've got going for them, the only thing they've got going for them is the fact that you think they can stop you. They can't. They really, truly can't.
So there's no excuse. You should all go home and start a station now.
Indeed.
Yeah.
All right, so go ahead. One more question.
This is Petrie again, and I just want to make a point, which is that if your station ever got to the truth is that the FCC can do all kinds of things, but they really don't because they don't have the people power to do it.
Right, that's true.
They can actually, if they find out your name, they can fine you for operating the transmitter, not for cursing, not for doing anything else, but they can fine you for the transmitter. They also, if you defy them after they've gotten you into court, they can actually put you in jail. But that's the only time they can put you in jail.
And that's never happened, right, in the history of history?
Well, that's never happened to you guys. That happened to Stephen Dunifer.
Did it okay.
No, Stephen Dunifer didn't go to jail.
No, he didn't go to jail, but what they did was they got a restraining order against him if he went back on the air. So the only time you could ever go to jail, well, there's 2 times. One is if you got a restraining order against you and you defied the restraining order. So you would know before that happened. Probably.
And the important point here, Petrie,
and
the important point here is that that's why we don't use real names ever, ever, ever. They can't get a restraining order against Monk.
And the other time is if you happen to be doing something else wrong at the moment. So
Right, like alcohol or not, like drugs or being under 18 or
Or having a gun.
or having a gun.
But I think it would be really interesting if you ever did get dragged all the way through the court process, because there's something different about your station than Stephen Donifer's station, which is that you actually applied for a license. You applied for a license on a channel that the FCC itself believes to be clear. Because they put it out in their rules originally that your channel was clear and was okay to apply for. So I think that they would really dread actually ever taking you to court, because by their own standards, you don't cause interference on your signal. So I think it's actually pretty interesting.
They have a
if they
pretty
ever-
bad
they
case
ever get
against
to that.
us if they ever tried.
So one more thing, I have some of our handbooks. I only have a couple of these with me, so if you're really thinking about starting some kind of a station, I can give you copies of these. Also, there's a whole bunch of literature that all of you can take that's up front. So these,
Also, I have
these
a-
are the technical handbooks. So.
I have an email, which is monk@kbfr.org. And you can email me, and I'll be happy to answer questions anytime.
Great. So everybody, that was monk@kbfr.org for more questions. I think we're going to wrap this up. Thank you very much for coming.
Thanks a lot, guys. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Pump up the volume!
Radio 95.3 FM at the Hope Conference live in New York City. Thank you, folks.
Pump up.
Oh, cool. Yeah. There's 3 different ones, but
Rock and roll. Yay! Live free, rock hard.
Because I got a pink one.
Hitler.
What is the yellow?